Hello everyone, this is Taryn with Wonderfully Made Handcrafting, and today I'm making an accordion book with this Kraft-Tex material. Now, before 2 months ago, I had never even heard of Kraft-Tex, but Shannon, my friend, had sent me some, and I absolutely love this stuff after working with this. So I have two different colors. I have the white and the Kraft-Tex, and you can dye them multiple ways, but I use my distress materials. So I have some ink pads, but I also have some sprays. So you'll see me here just kind of work in that color into the material. Now, what I do have to say about Kraft-Tex is it's actually a paper product that behaves similar to a fabric. So before you dye it with your stuff, you can wash it and make it really soft and kind of feeling like leather. It's just some amazing stuff. I can't wait to get some more because this stuff is going to be all over some of my projects. But anyways, it is washable in the washing machine and dryer. You don't want to dry it fully though, because then it just gets really crinkly. But if you almost dry it completely in the dryer and then just let it sit out and dry naturally, then it gets this really soft look. They also have some pre-washed versions of this Kraft-Tex, but I didn't find it difficult to just wash it myself in my washer machine. And then I actually did a second wash in my sink with some really, really hot water and crumpled it up with my hands. And then I laid it flat on my desk to dry with my fan going. And then eventually I did use my heat tool to just make sure that it was dry before I moved on to the next step. So last year for Christmas, I made both my parents and grandfather these accordion books, and I wanted to redo that because that was such a fun project for me. But this time I'm using these tags as the pages. Since the gratitude tag bob came with all these tags, that's what I decided to do. Last time I just used the folded pages as my pages to decorate and craft on. But I wanted to make sure I had 30 spaces for all those tags, not including the front and back cover. So that's what I was doing, making sure as I folded those that I had all those spaces. Now with the Kraft-Tex, I did just sew pieces together. I think I made them 3.5 inches wide, and then I just sewed a bunch of them together until I had enough where I could fold them and have those 30 spots. So that's kind of where I was going with that. Now those 30 spots are including the front side and also the back side, as you saw me folding that back over. I know that seems a little confusing, but if you go to the links of my videos and my past accordion books, I can show you that. I will leave those down in the description. But also, as you see me work through this project, I'm sure you'll understand. I am also doing a reel a day over on Instagram, and that is to show you the different tags that I've created. Now, sometimes these tags are a little tricky because they're such a small space to work with, but that is also a way that you can test out different techniques and just kind of hone your skills, I find, and I just like how it just stretches you kind of. So here I am creating this cover tag. I'm just going to write Gratitude 2022. I've decided to use my Dymo label maker for this whole kit. So you'll kind of see how I am punching out each title with that. But I am trying to create this little mini cluster of a bunch of antique goodies, or make them look antique even if they're not. So I have this little old pumpkin that is from the Overflowing kit. Now I'm using all my ephemera from the Overflowing kit for this tag project. Now I am reading the devotional, but at the same time, my primary focus for the crafting side of my month is working on this tag accordion book. In my little cluster, I have some book spines and vintage lace for my House of Books subscription. I also had some embroidery floss that matched the colors of the pumpkin. So I just made a little nest under my foam tape that's holding up my pumpkin. I also had one of those little counter brads from Tim Holtz that I decided to distress just a little bit with foundry wax and some distress crayon. And now I'm just adding some splatters with some of that decayed distress mica stain. I love this color, and I think I'm going to use it more so throughout this book because it just adds this really nice metallic finish without being too much. So here you see me use that Dymo label maker, and I'm just adding my title for this tag, and then we're going to move on and start assembling everything together. Now I decided I needed even more texture on this tag, just kind of fill it in and add some more mixed media look. I was looking at the different stencils that came alongside this kit, but ultimately decided on using that Momentary Affliction stencil. This is one of my favorites, and it's actually my grandfather's handwriting. I just love the grungy kind of I don't know, messy handwriting that it adds. And I didn't want it to be so white, so I'm going to just blend it out just a smidge with my makeup brush. Now this makeup brush constantly has some form of brown distress oxide on it, so that's just going to blend it out a little bit. Now these little countdown brads are amazing. They have numbers 1 through 31 on them, and so I chose to use number 30 since we are talking this month about 30 different attributes of God. And so I've decided to kind of poke a hole in that book spine in my cluster, and now we're going to grunge this up a little bit. Now I decided to take out my foundry wax. This didn't work as well as I was hoping, but it kind of worked. So I just kind of put some on the top, and then I tried to heat set it, but it was too hot because it was metal, and it was too light, and so it was blowing around. Could have grabbed tweezers, but decided not to. But now I am just grunging it up a little bit more with some distress crayons. This always works wonderfully, and it kind of sits in the grooves of the number, so it adds just that punch of color. Now I decided I needed a little bit more black on this tag simply because that title Gratitude 2022 is so bold that I just wanted to tone it down a little bit. Even though it is the title, I just wanted to add some more black to make it more cohesive. So I took out this embroidery floss, and I'm just going to make little X's on the bottom of this tag. Now since I don't have this tag on my chipboard yet, it's the perfect time to do so. The tags are thin enough where it's very easy to sew through, and I love the look of a hand sewn little extra on tags. It just makes it look I don't know, homey, I guess, if that's a good word to explain a tag. So anyways, I've just added that. Now I didn't have enough embroidery floss on the back side, so instead of knotting it and, you know, making myself frustrated trying to put a knot in it, I decided to use this mint tape and just make sure that it was really held down. I added some extra glue on the back side, and now we're just going to glue this onto the chipboard tag that I created. Now you could use any kind of chipboard. You could use, you know, cereal boxes or whatnot. I had some packaging that I just doubled up for my chipboard, and that's going to make this tag super sturdy. I also wanted to add a little bit more black with this little eyelet. I love this crocodile. If you don't have a crocodile, run out and grab one, especially if you like working with tags. Now to finish this off, I am going to use some Fabri-Tac. Now I just have one little tiny fold on the front cover because, as you'll see as I work through this, I'm going to do another page on the back side of this cover, and I didn't need any more of that Kraft-Tex coming through there, and so that's why there's just kind of a little nub to glue down that front cover. I will glue down the back cover the same way. Now I didn't show you how I created the back cover, but it was very simple. It was, you know, layers of chipboard with that tag, and then I'm just going to make sure that they are lined up perfectly so that all the tags in the in-between will be lined up as well. So that is it, guys. There's my accordion book I'm going to be working through. Make sure you follow me over on Instagram so you can check those reels out every day that I'm creating this month. I hope you enjoyed this process video. I know it's been a long time coming, so thank you so much for your patience. I will leave all my links down below. Those are affiliate links, so thank you so much for using that, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye!